I
like how you do that every time. Okay, on your go.
All right. Hey everybody, Luke Mullin here with the Lincoln Journal-Star, bringing you today's 4 Downs practice report here from the Nebraska football facility. Of course, a lot of questions to be answered here after the recent loss to Michigan over the weekend. Matt Rhule today reacting to that loss and giving some quick takeaways to the media. Some of the big things that he said was it's not a case of real soul searching for Nebraska this week. They are confident in their process. They're confident in the talent around them. They're just going to need to find some small tweaks to close that gap between them and Michigan. He mentioned that they're going to be examining the personnel, the rotations, the way that certain things play out during the game to evaluate how that's gone over these first 4 weeks. And again, 2/3 of the season still left to play. Matt Rhule again saying, it's not a case of overreacting, but also not underreacting either. Some key lessons that Nebraska needs to learn from this Michigan game. And in particular, one of those areas that they will be looking at is the trenches. Both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Matt Rhule not pleased with how Nebraska performed against the Michigan defensive and offensive lines. The Huskers on offense, pass protection was a big area of concern. Continually getting beat off the edge. Dylan Raiola dealing with that pressure all game long. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you look at the run bust, the issues that Nebraska had. Well, the defensive line getting pushed back off the ball, oftentimes on those run busts. Linebackers and cornerbacks having to step up. That's a recipe for disaster. You do that often enough, and that's what happened to Nebraska in that one. So how are they going to fix that? Of course, it's a complex issue. You're not going to see many fronts like Michigan. That's something that Matt Rhule said. Michigan State is, of course, the next opponent. They have a slightly lighter, but again, in the same vein, if Nebraska wants to run the ball and stop the run, they're going to have to figure those things out here quickly. Another key issue for Nebraska on the offensive side of the ball, who's going to be its backup running back moving forward? You look at Emma Johnson this week and as well against Cincinnati, handled about 85% of the offensive touches and snaps in the backfield. That's not something that Nebraska can do all season long and expect Johnson to last 12 games dealing with the rigor of this Big Ten schedule. Last week, we saw a little bit more Mekhi Nelson. Isaiah Mosey got in as well. But where was Quentin Ives? He was not in that one. Matt Rhule saying it was a formational thing. Ives could have backed up Johnson, but they stuck with Emmett. They wanted him in there. Well, the key question here over the bye week, who's going to step up? Because Michigan State comes to town and cannot give Emma Johnson that same level of workload. I expect Quentin Ives, we saw good things from him, of course, in that Houston Christian game. He's rising in that backfield. Could be a name to watch here these next couple weeks. And as well as Nebraska does get ready for Michigan State and navigates this bye week, fans want to know what's next for this Nebraska team. Well, of course, they will practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, following their normal weekly schedule here in Lincoln. Players had normal team activities on Sunday. Today, Monday, is their normal day off. Coaches will be on the recruiting trail this weekend. Look for them out Thursday and Friday making visits, checking in on some of those offered recruits, maybe some new offers as well, extended for recent recruiting targets for Nebraska. But overall, it's the same thing that Matt Rhule has said. They have their process. They're going to stick to it. This Michigan loss has impacted the season-long trajectory, but it's not going to impact this Nebraska football team's belief in themselves.